right here, she was born during kind of this big snowy time for us, like snowbed, apocalypse, whatever everyone wants to call it. But you can see how there's white here. That's just the change of the follicle changing from the scarring of losing this ear, as well as it's in a regular shape, because certain pieces die off and the other ones don't. So you'll see in a regular shape, white hair, and then it'll just kind of fall off. It'll get rock hard. And I mean, when they're born in that weather, if you can get to them and you don't have a barn, you can put ear mitts on them to help save the ears when they're born if you're around and your goats are, you know, tolerant of that. But you can also put petroleum jelly on their ears when it's wet and after they're born to help keep them warm. But I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, especially if they're born out in the woods or out in pastures and things like that. So nothing you can really do to stop it, but I mean, it's just a cosmetic issue. It's just their ears. But we always know who was born during cold months or bad storms due to their ears, because they're nice and white and sometimes half off. So, but they're good. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so here we see, this is Bonnie. Everyone knows Bonnie. She's the hussy of the group. We also have Koda here, and then if we pan over that way, Ducky. She just recently got put in this pasture. This is all new to her. She was by the house in a smaller pen, so now she's out here in this 40-acre pasture, getting to learn from these older dogs what they're supposed to be doing out here and barking at what and doing stuff with what. So again, when I was talking about younger dogs, Koda is also a younger dog. He's a bit older than her, but he's also massive, so his size makes him look older than he really is. But Ducky is still little. She's learning a lot. She's been doing really well. Like I was saying earlier, she is going to taste a leaf. So she's going to go check that out. Got to make sure everyone's safe. No leaves are getting anyone. But like I said, they will pull on ears at times throughout their adolescent stages, so it's good to have these older dogs. The one will keep them in check and not allow them to step out of bounds. They'll play with them, and just like that. So Ducky will play with those dogs instead of playing with the stock she's with. So that's a great tool to have if you have older dogs. They're irreplaceable when training younger dogs. But they seem to have fun with each other and it keeps each other out of trouble. And Koda's been doing really well as well as Ducky, so we've been very proud to have both of them and not really having to do too much. Every now and then you tell them no when they get a little too excited around the goats, because we don't want them bouncing around too close to the goats. We want calm and chill behavior around all of these goats. But you can go play out when you're farther away. That's kind of the rule around here. So you can see them, they're there, and they're kind of buoyant and stuff right now, so they're excited, and the goats are over here. So there's a good at least 10 to 15 foot girth between the dogs and the goats right now. But when everyone's settled in and sleeping, you'll find them sleeping right next to some of their favorite goats. There's always a favorite in the herd that the dogs seem to like more, or the goat seems to like that dog more. And there's also some that the goats hate said dog, and they'll go out of their way to hit them or whatever. But they learn to kind of live coexistingly? Yes, they live coexistingly, and the goats do learn that the dogs are protecting them. And every time they start to bark, you'll see all those goats gather up in a tight, like, formation and run to the dogs and get behind the dogs. So it's a really cool, neat, symbiotic relationship. You know, the goats poop, the dogs eat the poop, they love it. It's like a reward for staying with them. But, and the goats get protected from all kinds of predators. So they're happy to be together, and at first, you know, if the goats haven't been exposed to dogs, you gotta kind of work slowly with dogs that are calm, and then the goats learn that they're not going to hurt them and they're going to actually help them and keep them safe, so they'll stay with them and travel around with them. Huge thing to realize in your dogs and knowing personality and what they like to do. We look over here. This is Ruger and Bonnie. They love to patrol. They don't stay with the herd 24/7. You'll find them on the opposite side of however big lot we put them in. So they like to patrol and go around and make sure the perimeter's good, while dogs like Koda and Ducky, wherever she is laid up. But Koda likes to stay with the herd. He likes to be right in the middle of them most of the time. You'll find him sleeping with them, and then you're not going to be able to see Ducky, but she's over there somewhere with them in the mix. So that's a huge thing, is knowing your personality traits and what they like to do. You're not going to be able to make them do what you want them to do every single day, because you have to let them go off their own instinct, which that's been bred into them for thousands of years. That's why they're guardian dogs. So the main thing is knowing your dogs and pairing them up with a partner that complements them. We know that Bonnie and Ruger work well together with another dog because they like to both patrol. But if we put both of them in there, sometimes someone will stay, but sometimes they both will go patrol together, and we don't want to leave the herd completely alone, even though these dogs can cover land quickly. But it's better if you have one that does like to stay with the herd as well as likes to patrol. So that's why we pair up certain dogs with each other, and we know who works best with one another and enjoys each other's company. So that's what we do here. And so now they're just going to take a nap for a couple hours and get ready for tonight's festivities. Hopefully nothing too wild and crazy. Happy girl. I don't know if the camera just caught that, but see, she came up. She was a little too much for him. He let out a low growl, and she calmed down, went ahead and laid down instead of getting on top. Now she's going to go see if Bonnie will tolerate her puppy behavior. And she said, you know what, I'm not even going to test it. So I'm just going to go lay over here. So that was a great example of the adult dog correcting too much behavior. When we don't like that, then we get a low growl, and then she immediately corrected herself and said, you know, I'll just leave you alone, and I'm gonna go over here. Bye. So yeah, great to see it. We'd love to see these dogs working together, as well as training each other to not be annoying, as well as better guardians.